Hey guys, how's it going? This is Jason with JWClassicVW again, and happy Saturday morning. I got up pretty early and got my Starbucks coffee. I'm here early, as you can see behind me. Harbor Freight Tools, baby. We all love Harbor Freight Tools. The prices are right. The tools last just about long enough to get a job done, so it works out well. What has happened is I found a couple leaks on the 2276 right below the piston skirts where it mates with the block. So I need to go ahead and clean up the surface there and reseal it and then put the long block back together. Good news is I didn't find too many other major issues with the engine. One push rod had a loose tip on it, so looks like I'm going to be ordering some new push rods. I hate it when you find stuff wrong, but that's part of this hobby, right? We go ahead and we tear apart our engines. We got to check on them, especially the big ones. We build a big engine and look for wear and tear, because if you just slap it in there, put oil in it, and leave it alone, and never check it, and never do like a little PM on it or preventative maintenance on your engine, you're gonna have issues, guys. So go ahead and don't be afraid to pull your engines back out. Probably, I don't know, depending on what you built or how you built it, or if you had somebody else build it for you. I would say probably every 6 months. If you got a big engine, you might want to pull it out and take a look at it. You got to think of it like a race engine, because really what we've done is we've taken a stock engine that was designed to make very little horsepower, and it's making pretty good amount of horsepower, guys, right? So we want to go ahead and check it and make sure that everything is wearing right, everything looks good. And good news is everything does look good. There's some minor things here and there that I want to fix before we slap it back in the car and go ahead and do that Weber IDF reverse manifold kit, guys. I'm also going to go ahead and do the porting on the manifolds today, so we can get those all cleaned up and get them ready to go back in. So that'll be part 2 of the Weber IDF manifold reverse install kit. Oh, I found it. Found what I was looking for. Those little discs are like magic. Check it out, guys. Harbor Freight's got a little porting kit. Pretty cool. Alright, guys. Well, good morning, and welcome back to the garage. This is Jason with JWClassicVW, and you can see that I've removed all of the head studs, except for this last one I got to pull out. But I was working on cleaning up the surface area here. And let me bring you down a little closer to show you the bottom of where the cylinders mated, to give you an idea of where I was having my leaking going on, and you know, the potential reason why. So let's zoom you down. So as you can see here, when this engine block was opened up for 94 millimeter pistons, the deck wasn't resurfaced, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm sure some of you guys are going to be like, what the freaking hell are you doing? Blah, blah. Well, I'm taking precautions to make sure that no debris falls inside of the engine case. I'm going to go ahead and flush the whole inside of the case out once I get done with this with some WD-40 and some cleaner. And then I'm taking the oil sump off, and I'm just going to drain it all out really good. So any debris that does get in here, I'm going to get it out of there. So let me take you back up and show you something else that I found. That's a good little tidbit of information for those of you guys doing rebuilds on your engines. Right here, a little tip for you guys. I found that this case nut right here was actually turned a little bit, so that the tip, or the point end of the actual bolt or nut, sorry, the nut was more in line here, also causing some friction and not allowing the piston to sit all the way down. So make sure that when you torque these down, that you're landing on a flat on the piston side, especially these ones that are close. And you're only going to have this problem on the case nuts that are near the actual pistons. So just look out for that and check it, and you might have that problem. But let's go ahead and finish cleaning up this area here, and then I'm going to blow it off, and then we're going to get ready to do the other side. And then, like I said, we're going to pull it all apart and go ahead and clean out the inside of the engine, spray it down real good, and then put it back together, guys. We got to get this engine back together before we can put the reverse manifolds on. It's actually kind of nice this morning. It's not a million degrees yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave the fan off while I can, and finish up resurfacing this one side and show you guys kind of like what it looks like once you're done. Now you're gonna go ahead and like I'm gonna probably end up increasing my compression ratio just a little bit, but that's okay because I have a little bit that I could gain, which might end up working out in our favor. Each one of my studs that I put in here was Loctited down in, but the actual case savers were not. So I've already had one case saver on the number 2 piston that I reinserted with Loctite. I've got one on number 1 that I have to do as well. I'm just double nutting these studs to get them out. These are 8mm studs, the smaller studs, which in most cases that I know, you have to use the 8mm studs whenever you're doing a big block build. So what's everybody up to today on their Saturday? How many of you guys are still in bed or watching TV? Huh? I just had to convince myself finally to bring my happy butt downstairs and start working on Goose. What I'll be using to do the resurfacing, I started off with a stone first, but I'm moving to these discs that I picked up from Harbor Freight because they should be nice and maintain an even surface whenever I go around and I'm trying to sand these down to resurface this. And I'm going to go ahead and finish up this side first. And I'm actually trying to go almost for a flush lip, but we'll see what happens, guys. It's down here at the bottom. It was almost already flush, which is, I have an uneven surface here. And for those of you guys that are not familiar with this stuff or aren't comfortable with doing what I'm doing, I really would recommend, you're probably not gonna want to do this, but breaking apart your case and taking this to a local machine shop to have them resurface the deck area here. Because doing this the way that I'm doing it, you know, you got to be ready to pull the engine back out and be prepared to take it to a machine shop if it doesn't work out well. But I'm gonna take my time and bring down these surfaces here evenly, and hopefully it works out. And if it doesn't, then oh well. But I guess we're gonna be taking it to Bugaholics in Pasadena because they're gonna be the ones doing all that for me. But I want to try to do it myself first and see if I can not jack it up. Just take your time, pay attention to the material, because you're probably going to go ahead, the cloth you have inside, you might catch that and bring it out. Watch that you don't catch any other surfaces while you're doing it. See what I'm talking about? Catches that material. And I'm already feeling it's almost even, like in some places, so the top is almost even. Like I said, guys, if you're doing this at home, you're doing this at your own risk, gentlemen. Just about got it down to where I want it, all the way around. I'll clean it off here in a second and show you guys what we got. Moving to a finer grit now. Finer grit paper. Just 2, of course, and then a finer paper that I'm using on this. Like I said, guys, if you're not comfortable doing something like this, don't do it. You know what I mean? This could be a bad day for you if you're not willing to take that risk. Then don't do it. The lip is gone now. The lip that I feel like was causing the problem with the piston sealing correctly. So the problem you'll run into if you don't really make sure that you clean up all of the crap that you have around this area, like if it gets inside the block through either these case studs or for whatever reason it gets in there, it could clog up your oil galleries, and you're going to destroy your bearings. Let's go ahead and flip this. I'm going to flip the case over while I'm pulling these out to help keep the debris falling down instead of like gravity falling in. While you have your engine taken down to this point, it's also not a bad idea to go ahead and retorque your rod studs. Just if you want to check them, just to make sure that everything is holding. These ones tore down to a final torque of about 45 foot-pounds due to the ARP type of hardware and to get the shrinking that I wanted. So I'm going to take the brake fluid, or the not brake fluid, but the brake cleaner, clean off around the surface here as well. And it feels really good to me, guys. There's some areas like I might want to touch up. Let's see. Like over in here, when I start to bring down this side, over here, I'll even this out a little bit more because there's a little bit of rise or a little bit of deviation on this side. We will come back through, and what I'll do is I'll spray the whole inside down with a brake cleaner, and then pretty quick right after that I'll go back through with a WD-40 or a lube, and then I'll oil everything back down again. Okay, so here's our surface. You can see it pretty well right there. Let me grab my piston. Okay, piston. I'm going to drop this rod down in a little bit. Boom. And see right here I was talking about, like, you want to watch this to make sure that that nut's not getting in your way right there. Can you guys see that? Not really. Let me back you up a little bit. Right here where this nut is, you want to watch that, make sure that it's not hitting your skirt, which mine isn't anymore. But I'm now looking at my piston, and yeah, man, she sits nice and flat. Gap is gone. I think that once we seal this up, that we won't have any more issues with leaking. But we will see, right? We will see. So I know some of you are out there asking the question, Jason, do you plan on repainting your block? Hell no, I'm not repainting this block. No. Why? Because you're not going to see that crap. And you know what? Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the painted block yet. I kind of went with it because it's, something different to do. And I just don't know, guys. I don't know if I like it. I kind of like the stock look when it comes to the block. But, we got some grinding to do, so let's get to it. Good morning, guys. It's Sunday, and this is Jason with JWClassicVW again. And I finished up decking the other side of the case. It's all been cleaned up. Looks pretty good. I'm probably going to go ahead and take some brake cleaner and run through the inside again with the brush that I have and stuff to make sure that it's perfectly clean inside. I also removed the oil sump on the bottom so that I could go ahead and make sure that there was no debris down inside of here, clean up these gaskets and make sure that I had no leaking from there as well. As you can also see, a lot of my paint came off, so I think it gives it a rustic look. What do you guys think? Moving on today, I'm going to go ahead and insert my studs again, the cylinder studs with the blue Loctite. And right now we're going to be moving to the workbench and start working on some porting of those reverse manifolds for the IDF carburetors. So for now, we're gonna move the block out of the way, and we're gonna get right to the porting. Let's go, guys. All right, guys. As you can see, I've already marked the manifolds on where they need to be ported at. That's identified by the red on the actual manifold, and that's what I'm gonna open up first, so that we can start porting these bad boys. All right. I'm gonna give you this vice view because now I have a vice. Hey, I have a vice. It's magic. The whenever you clamp down on something in the vise, you want to be careful that you don't aren't scarring up your surfaces of your actual what you're working on. It may be as simple as just putting a couple pieces of cardboard or pieces of wood in between either side of the vise faces or the vise heads right here, so that you don't jack up your stuff. And let me see if I can find some cardboard. So we'll just take our cardboard, we'll jam it down in the vise, and then for our work, what we're working on up inside of here. And there we go. Maybe. Yeah, that should hold it. And I want to go ahead and I'm gonna, well, first I'm gonna bring you guys down so you can see a little bit better what I've got going on here. All right, got you down at a vice view now, or the view where you can actually see what's going on. Down in the description, guys, I'm gonna link some of the tools that you may need to do a porting job as well if you don't have any yet. Most of this stuff can be found at your local Harbor Freight too, but for one, I'm using this this auger bit right here. Focus. This bit right here is really good for moving metal. I'll see if I can find this for you guys and link it down in the description, or maybe a kit that has them in it. The rest of it, you already saw that Harbor Freight has these types of porting discs. These porting discs used to port heads and/or manifolds. So there's different types and sizes depending on what the application is or what you're, what kind of metal you're trying to move out of there. But these are probably pretty soft manifolds, so I don't think it'll take too much to get to where we need to be. If this is your first time porting anything or working on manifolds, one of the things you want to watch out for is, of course, like here in the center, you can see, and throughout the manifold, that is going to be where the thinner part of the metal is, and you don't want to go too crazy. And honestly, we're going to be doing more of a port matching, which means that we're going to be focusing on opening up this port right here and then just doing more cleaning on the inside. These ports need to be opened up to match the actual heads, and the rest of throughout the manifold will be just to clean it up a little bit and get rid of any of the rough casting that may exist on these manifolds. Which, for the most part, looking at them, I don't see too much of an issue with that. Move this bag out of the way. Too much of an issue with that. So this should be pretty quick and painless. Just using my trusty drill, and hopefully the camera doesn't get in the way because I don't want to bump you guys, but we'll see. Now, if you were just doing port matching and you were just trying to match the port of your actual head, your cylinder head, you'd be about good right there on moving the first go through of removing material. you'd probably want to go ahead and clean this out a little bit more for polishing, but some people don't really do that because they think that it helps up with breaking up the fuel and air mixture as it goes through. They might run a coarse sanding disc through here, and that'd be about it. I'm going to continue on with my my porting the top, and then we'll keep going, guys. All right, guys. Now these ports are opened up. I'm going to flip it now so that I can kind of make sure that I'm evening out the porting. But that's a lot of material coming out of there. So there is still plenty of meat that can be removed on this. I'm now going to be moving to the first rough sanding disc to start cleaning this up because it looks good to me, guys. Looks good to me. What's cool about these kits is that once you have it, all you have to do is buy a new disc or a new sanding disc for it. I'm going to start with this one. This sanding disc, it's got a nice rough, I would probably, I got a 40 grit or a 20 grit, something like that. Hey, look, guys. Looking pretty good so far. I like to use a little bit of WD-40 when I polish. And then I might end up using like a 400 grit sandpaper and probably just my finger or something like that in there. Sometimes you can do it with something else, but we'll try this first. This is to get the polish, less of the rough finish. See how it works. Hold on a second, guys. We're trying some shade tree mechanic shit over here. So my plan that is to put a slit right down the center of this thing and see if I can make my my own little flapper thing for the sandpaper. It would make this go a lot easier, but we will see. We will see. Where's my Dremel? Now, I wouldn't touch that right now if I were you. Not with your bare hands. That thing would frickin' give you a tattoo. It sure would. This see if it makes that sound, you know, that welding sound. Aw, man. No sound. Take our little notch here. It's like the sandpaper in it. And then just wind it around. Okay, a little like that. And then, technically, if you have some pressure on it, it should hold, right? I just want to try polishing this a little bit first. I'm gonna run this in the tank real quick, clean it out, and see what she looks like. This is my tank. See, done. But I've got some stuff in here I can clean stuff out with. Everybody should have a bucket of dirty water in their shop. Right, guys? Right? All right. So here's what we got. Here's our before and after, guys. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. Definitely see the difference in the porting. Turned out really well. So pretty much I've got one more to go. We got one done. Let's take the gasket and see what it looks like on there. This is the original gasket. And that's right, it should be this way. That's good. Original gasket showing you the porting. So, sweet. Looking good. Good job. And that's enough for camera today. I'll go ahead and do this one off camera. But one step closer to having those that IDF manifolds, installed, guys. Alright guys, we got a lot of work done today, but we got a lot of work still to come. We finished up the porting on those manifolds, but as you see here by looking at the board, we got more stuff to do. The porting's done, so let's cross that off. Porting's done, but we also have to reassemble the long block. The assembly of the long block includes the tin work that we have to do, the exhaust work. I have to go ahead and clean up the exhaust. They're a little dirty from oil splattering on them. I don't know if you saw those in the video, the pictures behind everything, but yeah, they're pretty nasty. So I got a new can of paint. I'm gonna sand them down and repaint the exhaust. Also, the new push rods, I need to order those and get them on their way. I'm gonna order a set of stock push rod tubes, not push rod tubes, stock push rods from CB Performance. So that usually takes a little bit of time to for them to arrive. The way that I've done my engine and the way the geometry is set up on the valve train, I'm able to use the stock push rods, which is pretty cool. Also, we have the oil cooler, which oil cooler had a couple leaks on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix those leaks. Actually, I think it's just one leak on the oil cooler, and then we should be good to go on that. And then we can put the engine back in the car and do the rest of the reverse IDF manifold kit. I'm sure some of you guys are saying like, this reverse manifold videos, Jay, it has a lot of stuff that's not reverse manifold. You're right, it does, and you're welcome. There's a lot of good information in here. If you guys get to some stuff that you don't really want to watch, or it doesn't pertain to something that you're interested in, hit the fast forward, guys. Just fast forward through it. But if you want to see more stuff, or you're more interested in some of the things that I have worked on, just let me know, and then maybe we'll spend some more time on those things. Comments, suggestions down below in the comment sections. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel whenever you guys do comment. We are well over 500 subs now, guys. It like happened overnight. I went from like 500 and something to almost 550 now, so that's awesome. And that's because of you. Once again, like, share, subscribe, send the content out to anybody that you think would enjoy some Volkswagen stuff, because that's what we do here. We work on Volkswagens, guys. You, me, and the rest of this VW community. Shout out to Glenn. He's doing some good work over there on Eleanor. Can't wait to see her go over to the body shop and start getting some work done there. It's going to be beautiful, I'm sure. And let's see what else. If you haven't done so already, check out the description down below in this video. I have a lot of good information in there that has links to other YouTubers that do Volkswagen stuff. Go out there and check them out. You might find something else that you like. Subscribe, like, and share with your friends, guys. This is Jason from JWClassicVW, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.